Welcome to session 9 of BSc Physics. The topic of discussion is atomic physics. I am Dr. K.N. Jagadish. In this session, we are going to discuss one of the effects of atoms, that is the normal Zeeman effect. The contents of this session are Zeeman effect, the experimental observation of Zeeman effect, and finally the quantum theory of normal Zeeman effect. Zeeman effect is a magneto-optical phenomenon in which there is splitting of a spectral line when the source of light reducing that line is placed in a magnetic field. There are two types of Zeeman effect. One is called as the normal Zeeman effect, and the other one is anomalous Zeeman effect. Now first, let us concentrate on the understanding of normal Zeeman effect. In normal Zeeman effect, a spectral line splits into fewer lines in the presence of a strong magnetic field when observed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. In anomalous Zeeman effect, a spectral line splits into many lines in the presence of weak magnetic field when observed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Let us discuss about the experimental observation of Zeeman effect. The experimental setup consists of a source of light emitting a spectral line which is placed between the powerful magnetic pole pieces. The spectral lines are observed through a high resolving power spectrometer in two different directions, one parallel to the field and the other perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. First, we will try to analyze the spectrum parallel to the direction of magnetic field. This study is made by drilling a hole through the pole pieces as shown in figure A. When spectral lines are observed through the spectrometer, a single line is found to split into a doublet, that is, into two lines in presence of the magnetic field. Both these lines are symmetrically displaced from the original position and are circularly polarized in opposite direction as shown in figure B. This is called normal longitudinal Zeeman effect. Coming to the spectral line perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, when observed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field as shown in figure B, the single line is found to split into three lines, which we are going to call as a triplet. The central line occupies the position of parent line and is plane polarized with its vibration parallel to the field. Now, this component of the original line is called as the pi component. The outer two lines are also plane polarized, but have vibrations perpendicular to the field. Hence, we are going to refer them as the sigma components. This is called normal transverse Zeeman effect. Coming to the quantum theory of normal Zeeman effect. Normal Zeeman effect is exhibited by atoms having paired electrons in the valence shell. Hence, the angular momentum due to spin of the atom is zero. That is, S is equal to zero. The two electrons have anti-parallel spin, so that the net spin is zero. The atoms possess only orbital angular momentum and the orbital magnetic dipole moment mu L, since the spin is zero. When a strong magnetic field is applied, the orbital magnetic dipole moment interacts with the field and the atom acquires a small magnetic energy, delta E, with which the dipole moment of atom executes Larmor precision about the field. The energy acquired by the atom due to the magnetic field is given by delta E is equal to minus mu L dot B. The negative sign is because of the energy supplied by the magnetic field. Now, applying the dot product, we get mu L into B into cos theta along with the negative sign. Here, mu L is equal to minus of root of L into L plus 1 into mu B, and cos theta is equal to PLZ divided by PL, which is equal to ML H bar divided by root of L into L plus 1 into H bar. By cancelling the H bar, we get ML divided by root of L into L plus 1. Substituting this value of mu L in the expression for energy acquired, delta E, is equal to root of L into L plus 1 into mu B into B into ML divided by root of L into L plus 1. Now, after simplification, we get delta E is equal to mu B into B into ML, where mu B is the Bohr magneton, which is given by EH by 4 pi m. Substituting this, we get equation 1, which is EH by 4 pi m into B into ML. Equation 1 gives the energy gained by each atom in the magnetic field, which depends on the strength of the magnetic field B and the value of ML. Since for a given value of L, ML has 2L plus 1 orientations in the presence of magnetic field, the energy of a subshell L splits up into ml number of energy levels of slightly different energies. If E naught and E are the energy of the atom corresponding to an orbital quantum number L without and with the magnetic field respectively, then the energy of the atom is given by E is equal to E naught plus delta E, which is further equal to E naught plus EH by 4 pi m into B into ml. Suppose an electron in the atom makes a transition from an initial higher energy state E0I to final lower energy state EOF. When no field is applied, then the frequency of photon emitted is given by nu naught is equal to E0I minus E0F divided by H. This is equation number 2. When magnetic field is applied, the energy of the initial and final states is given by EI is equal to EOI plus EH by 4 pi m into B into MLI, and the final energy EF is equal to EOF plus EH divided by 4 pi m into B into MLF. The frequency of photon emitted when there is a transition of electron from EI state to EF state is given by nu equals the difference in the energies EI minus EF divided by H. Substituting the expressions for EI and EF, we get EOI plus EH by 4 pi m BMLI minus EOF minus EH divided by 4 pi m into B into MLF divided by whole divided by H. After simplification, we get EOI minus EOF divided by H plus MLI minus MLF whole divided by H into EH divided by 4 pi m into B. Finally, the frequency nu is equal to nu naught plus delta ML into EB divided by 4 pi m. This is equation number 3. In this expression, the difference in energy divided by H is taken as nu naught. This expression implies that at a constant magnetic field, the frequencies of the spectral lines depend on the values of delta ML. Applying the selection rule, delta ML is equal to 0, plus or minus 1. From equation 3, we find that there are 3 different possible frequencies producing 3 spectral lines. These frequencies of the spectral lines are nu1 equals nu naught minus E into B divided by 4 pi m, which can be written as equal to nu naught minus delta mu for delta ml equals -1. Similarly, nu naught is equal to nu2 if delta ml is equal to 0. On the same lines, we get nu3 as equal to nu naught plus E into B divided by 4 pi m, which is equal to nu naught plus delta mu for delta ml equals +1. Here, delta mu is equal to EB divided by 4 pi m, which we can write it as equation number 4. Here, delta mu is called the Zeeman shift. That is, the Zeeman shift is the difference between the frequencies of the central line and the adjacent lines of the Zeeman pattern. Zeeman shift increases with increase in the strength of magnetic field. That is, delta mu is directly proportional to B. The theoretical analysis of polarization of emitted spectral lines show that the central line is produced for delta ml is equal to 0, is plane polarized and with vibrations parallel to the field direction, and the adjacent lines are produced for delta ml is equal to ±1 and are plane polarized and perpendicular to B, which exactly matches with the experimental observation of transverse Zeeman effect. For longitudinal Zeeman effect, the theoretical analysis shows that the transition corresponding to delta ml equal to 0 is forbidden. Hence, the central line is absent and there are only 2 lines. The theory also shows that for delta ml equals ±1, the lines are circularly polarized in opposite sense, thus matching with the experimental observations of longitudinal Zeeman effect. Now here we can have a note that the wavelength shift in Zeeman pattern can be obtained as follows. The frequency mu is equal to C by lambda, and delta nu, by differentiating both sides, we get delta nu as equal to minus C by lambda square. From this, minus C by lambda square into delta lambda, which is equal to C by lambda square into delta lambda, considering only the magnitude aspect. Substituting this in equation 4, we get C by lambda square into delta lambda as equal to EB divided by 4 pi m. Hence, delta lambda is equal to E by m into B lambda square divided by 4 pi into C. Thank you.